Attention gamers. I'm an avid League of Legends player, which means I sacrifice things such as building social relationships with others, a consistent and healthy sleep schedule, and my overall happiness in exchange for chasing the toxic goal of increasing a virtual number that doesn't mean dick about dick, to which sharing milestones and accomplishments are just met with criticisms from a community of eternal masturbators. So the bottom line is this. I'm an addict who is always looking for the latest and greatest easy cheesy lemon bikini way to climb, so you can probably imagine when I saw a skill capped video with this as the hook line.
What if I told you there was a strategy with one of the highest win rates in the game, was nearly impossible to counter, and is such an easy playstyle that you could watch Netflix on your second monitor and still win the game?
You can bet your vegan communist cousin's farm that I would be putting their promises to the test with my own self, the perfect poster child for scummy hard-stuck players who can't climb. So today I will show you their strat as well as my professional testing to see if it can get your easy LP while simultaneously showing you a guaranteed way to get free RP in the process. Buff for anyone whose residence is under a Malphite is an app fully authorized by Overwolf, who are behind most apps that you probably already use every day, which means safe, no scam nonsense, and all you do with Buff is download it, then earn fat stacks of Buff coins by simply playing your fave games, which you then use to redeem for a variety of online or IRL goodies, as if this is like a damn gamer's Chuck E. Cheese token shop. And honestly, the only thing that would make a team wipe fat swanky MF ult at Baron triple kill any better would be having had the totally free Buff app running, knowing you are making bank while sending peeps back to base. Calm your fears, Rav here to say that it is super lightweight on both your CPU and your GPU, so you won't even notice it's there, almost like it's a pre-reworked fiddle stalking his prey before reminding me how much I miss that happy little old hay bag. But even if you are like one of the hundreds of people in my comments saying they quit League, this app works on almost every game out there, so use my description link below, download Buff and cop your bag while gaming today. Now I'm not gonna spoil their entire video padded with 30 minutes of gamer orgasm b-roll and random other shit. You can watch it yourself, I'll link to their vid below, but the RAV summary is that you play the first few minutes with the intent of getting a fat group of midgets under their tower on the third wave, so you can quote unquote cheater recall, allowing you to come back to lane with item and health advantages, and they are stuck with their flaccid dick in their hand waiting to either lose a fight or watch you freeze for days licking popsicle sticks and looking at them promiscuously. You then use this early advantage paired with picking a pusher champ like Sivir to shove like you are trying to start shit with a redneck at a country concert, which allows you to get objectives and take first tower. Then you supposedly run mid and continue pushing like you haven't shit in weeks, and there's a pumpkin in the poop tubes begging to come out while ignoring dumbass fights that you'd normally get tilt tempted into joining, because the objective pressure you are putting on the bad guys is more valuable than winning any team fight. There's more details, but that's my summary, and while any high elo player would probably just call this having a minimal sense of macro gameplay, I'm all for calling it the uncounterable black magic strategy and showing you my attempts at rocking it. Alright, so my first attempt at this was on Uber Eats Sivir with my handy dandy wholesome neeks on support, launching Fruit Loops at large sets of tits to chunk them down before I follow step 1 of the video without flaw in getting my hoodlums under tower and backing. And just as the Prophet skill cap predicted, the wave was basically in popsicle molds with sticks shoved up its ass with how ready to be frozen it was. Plus we got a surprise visit from Limping Lenny, that horny sack of hay, and you'd think 2 women with 3 guns would feel comfortable taking on 1 clown car scarecrow, but they were scared shitless, so I tossed an extra large pepperoni at the one to put her in a carb coma. Our jungle is flaming the shit out of the lizard. That's something the guide left out, as if it isn't an every game occurrence, but I'm still reenacting the last time my wife and I read the Kama Sutra, awkwardly trying to follow the steps laid out despite knowing it probably won't go as planned, but I'm pushing and backing on repeat to keep the timings correct, which earned my coworkers a free ass dragon while the enemies were dealing with the daycare of blue robes I shoved into them. You can see MF died of diabetes due to all deep throating these pizzas, and I was still distributing slices like we were at a college chess club meeting until Yone, he whose brain is baloney, caught on to our little tricks, and while it looks like a 2v1 you forget that champ went from theory crafted design written on a napkin to live on the Rift with seemingly no testing in between. So yeah, the color on my screen doesn't get along with enemies with broken bullshit kits, but at least my support got him to switch to Geico and I still got a small commission for my part in it. That said, the plan of shoving waves like I have the power of the moon, then rotating to objectives and making it back home in time before my mom noticed I was out and covered in sperm was working better than I had anticipated, until eventually we got tower and I was ready to call it a day and buy that Kraken Slayer I had my eyes on when a fat ass frog spoiled my plan. Not to fear a smurfing smooth ass Nico combo was here, which one made me hard but two lined up an easy double deep dish dickin' before I puckered my own ass cheeks and prayed that windshitter pieced out before he remembered the lock combination to my Gucci hole. Then per the guide I'm supposed to park my pepperonis mid and keep the blue babies focused on playing run down towards their nexus, but the windshitter has the goon gales procced and I just know he's gonna be looking to play some fruit ninja, so I break the rules and rotate to shove a Sicilian Supreme down his pie tunnel instead. Straight back to keep waves shoved because it opens up all sorts of shit like catching their jungler trying to do her chores and anyways, Dragon is now up and everyone RSVP'd hells to the yes on attending that shit, so I remember what the video said where the value of me seemingly trolling the world by straight shoving continues, and sure enough I get us a free T2 and close to one more until the Wind Twin shows up thinking he can stop two of us all by himself.
We don't think our champions have overloaded kits overall.
So like the video and basic logic of League of Legends stated, there was no shortage of dumbassery pissing festivals going on around objectives that would be spawning in 4 minutes, which opens me and Archie Bowman up to have the same idea of just straight split pushing these bitches, and sure enough I was writing worth in my diary after that one despite having lost the team fight as it got us 2 inhibs and a large flailing wiener in the river for free. FYI, if you see this windshitter getting himself banned off Twitter for the derogatory things he's tweeting about Zanya's, here's some context into what sparked the whole shit fest. But anyways, I kind of just kept pushing and farming, which took all of the fun out of the game for me, except for that time I accidentally turned the strat into a more troll version of inting Cyan, but on several little itty bitty mishap, and after a while of avoiding human contact it uneventfully did become an easy ass win, and apparently it works on other champs, so I queued up for a second on the British Mall Cop to dive deeper into my investigation of such clickbaity claims. This one I thought would start the same way, shaping up to shove wave numero 3 into the laser death camp, but turns out Stone Tits McGee has a murder porn fetish for lizards, so I lay a cute little to-go package for him when he backs off, and I don't think he was expecting such a gift. Anyways, I cheat or recall like a champ. Wave is perfect, but I get the brilliant idea to shut this counting psychopath up, not realizing that his obese concrete chicken bodyguard will be around, so we split the orgy into a double date until they get bored of me and both start trying to peg the tie-dyed Geico, and turns out ignore the one with the gun isn't the optimal strategy, so I find myself as the sole beneficiary to both of their wills. I start to think they too are following the push and get objective strategy, but without the pushing, and instead of getting ahead they are just shitting their pants and rubbing each other's hands in the mess. That said, it seems to be working when they slaughter Shaco, but Faco is a vengeful motherfucker, so Fiddle gets fisted, and then I'm thinking Nico DP isn't something I want in my search history, so I head out only to learn from Rift Alexa that tides are being turned, so I do a leap of 180 my colorful ass back into the chaos as everyone around me politely pisses off so that I can tame the Charizard all to myself. Back to lane, and that tiptoeing psychopath is all about his foring, while Nico is like, how about 2 lizards 1 scrub, and I'm like, 3's a crowd, but I'll join anyway to fire an ace up that number mumbling noob's ass nozzle to keep the snowball rolling, and allowing me to continue the ever so satisfying shove iron wave 1 shots. Then I'm fin to hit another recall per the video's recommendation because the wheelchair midgets are in town, but Nico wants to hit a colorful cannonball on counting Dracula, so I come in and fire my cue at the ghost of Jin's past in what starts to look like a chapter 1 scene that goes into detail of how a legendary Zed started to get fed, but the dude has quite the wide set vagina and gives up on his plans to murder. I head mid because I can't keep my dick in my pants when I'm this fed, only for Mr. Zed to draw an X at an opportune time to cock block me into oblivion, but I guess it all worked out despite this Varus thinking I wouldn't highlight what he should be embarrassed to admit he has fingers after doing, but we all know the only play he's showing his mom after the game was the one where Rift Alexa gave him all the credit for the slave work labor we did for his triple in river right after. Anyways, I get the blue babies pushing as per the LP train recommendations, which allows me to do things like take a quick trip south to kneel down, look through my super scope and fire a fatty up that 4 whores little taint nugget. I head back mid and Gary the Gargoyle is clearly happy to see me, so I load a full clip of Kate pellets into the fanny pack and try to get got with a Gale Force combo, only to be volunteered for a game of X's and O's where Zed drew his first X. I panicked and jammed my forehead into my summoner spells, as is the normal reaction of an ADC, and then I lent him out an ult in return. And I have to admit, just Jay chilling in the mid lane really opens you up to rotate just about everywhere, so when I see fat ass Michelangelo trying to clear vision I make him say nani before getting forced to attend a surprise party for someone who I don't even like, so I hang back, regroup and eventually chase all the beanie babies to the bot lane where their Bobby brain cells made of stone Gallia tries to be the hero only to succeed in nothing but giving me a chuckle. Which, come to think of it, was a recurring theme with this guy. So yeah, this one was an example of a game where the strat did well at getting me ahead, and despite me not being able to keep a fed dick in my pants and sticking strictly to the strategy, I do have to admit that the black magic they spouted in that video did feel like a bit of a hack. Who knew executing average macro gameplay decisions would have enemies crying bot diff and you collecting free LP? So thanks for watching, and thank Buff for picking up the tab on this one. Check their link below. Rav out.